Hey, what's up? This is JM, host of the Celebrity Grill podcast on iTunes, and you're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Network. All barbecue and grilling, all the time.
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and... Oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
Welcome to the Barbecue Central Show, the show where we talk about all things that are important in the world of barbecue. From big-name interviews with competitors on the barbecue circuit, grill manufacturers and pit makers, to advice on cooking brisket and ribs. You'll find it all right here on the Barbecue Central Show. Your host, Greg Rempe, is a backyard barbecue and grilling fanatic and loves to talk about his passion, which many of us share together. You can learn more about barbecue and grilling by visiting the website, thebbqcentral.com. Now, let's get in the smoke. Here's your program host, Greg Rempe.
Welcome to the Barbecue Central Show. This is the show that talks about all things important to the world of barbecue and grilling, presented by the 5th annual Taste of the Deerfield Valley. Myron Mixon going to be headlining this event the September 10th through the 12th. CelebrateTheValley.com is that website for more information. We're originating from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio, as we do every Tuesday evening right here on the Barbecue Central Radio Network's the website, the bbqcentralshow.com, the forum website if you want to jump in and talk about barbecue and grilling during off-show hours, the bbqcentral.com. I am your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you. Let me give you some contact information tonight in case you want to jump in on the show, ask a guest a question, ask me a question, or give your take in general about the world of outdoor live fire cooking. Toll free 877-448-0433, 877-448-0433. Also the email address, greg@thebbqcentralshow.com, greg@thebbqcentralshow.com, Greg with one G, by the way. Here's what's happening on the show tonight. Coming up in about 14 minutes from now, going to be joined by a first-time guest to the Barbecue Central radio show jungle, Mike Wozniak, Pitmaster of Quau. Lots of great stuff to talk to him about, and we only have him for 13 or 14 minutes, so we'll jam it all in as possible. If we don't get it all in, we'll have him back in a future show, because that's what's great about having great guests. We have him back on a regular basis. Mike Wozniak coming up at 1:15 from Quau, 35 past the hour. Third segment, going to be joined by monthly guest Robin Medlin, Grill Girl. That's with 3 R's there in the middle of girl. GrillGirl.com is her website. Venerable food blogger, also a promoter, an aficionado of the grilling, especially trying to get the women out there in front of the live fire to take that intimidation factor out for them, let them know that it's not just the man's domain. So we're going to be talking to her about some great recipes that she has been working on. Also, she has some great tailgating tips because football is in full swing now with preseason. And her newest project, Take Your Grill to Work Day. So we'll talk to Robin Medlin, 35 past the hour. Of course, 4-segment free-for-all following that for your chance to win fun and succulent prizes. And, of course, your chance to talk to Hall of Fame broadcaster, even though he's dead, Harry Carey. Of the Cubs, right? The Cubs, okay. So that's 4-segment free-for-all. And then second hour, After Dark, going to be joined by a friend of the show and one of the best all-around interviews that we've had on the show, according to many of your emails, Rod Gray from Pellet Envy Cooking Team. So that's what we have going on tonight. Again, 877-448-0433, bbqcentralradio@gmail.com. All right. So before we wrap up in here in the first set of breaks, figured I'd burn a little bit on the second episode of Barbecue Pitmasters that aired this past Thursday. Here's some thoughts. I figured why not give them to you. You know, first and foremost, let me say this up front. It's great to see barbecue teams get some face time on the tube. I really appreciate that, and I really like that as just a fan of barbecue. And again, I'm not a big competitor or anything like that, but it's good to see the people that I've talked to here on the show, on the TV, getting some recognition and some face time, so I dig it. It seemed that episode 2 was actually had more positive comments. It was a little bit more well-received than the first episode. I'm not sure why, but it did. The variance, of course, will be slim show to show because it follows a strict format. Look, if you don't like the format of this show, of the first show or the second show, you're not going to like the show regardless because this is how we're structured week to week. And speaking of week to week, this season, I'm doing air quotes, the season for the show is only 6 weeks. I mean, what kind of season is that? It's hard to get invested into a team week to week on any one team because it's only 6 weeks. A team wins, they move to the finals, which is great. But if you're one of those demoed viewers of TLC, I doubt you even remember that Mo Cason of Ponderosa Barbecue won the first show and is now in the finals, let alone Melissa Cookston of Yazoo's Delta Q from this past Thursday. Finally, a team that is, speaking of Yazoo's Delta Q, finally, this is a team that is really the first recognizable competition circuit team that has been on the show so far. So out of all of the 8 teams that have aired over the last 2 weeks, Yazoo's Delta Q is really the only notable team that has had any face time on the television. Look, personally, I think it's a mistake not having better-known teams in these first few episodes to help promote barbecue as they claim the show, or the show claims that it wants to do. Look, you wouldn't have your 4-string NFL players or the guys that you just cut off the practice roster go out and hype up the NFL, would you? No, of course not. You'd send the most prolific players in the sport, show accessibility, show a relationship to the fan base. And I think the show missed the boat here as far as that's concerned. Don't get me wrong. There are a few of the best teams in this show that are competing out there on the circuit today, but it's not the best of the best by any stretch of the imagination. So look, here's the bottom line for me. I don't personally feel, me personally, that this is an accurate representation of competition barbecue. It's not. Is it a food competition? Yeah. Like many others that are on the TV right now. And you see more outside live fire being used, which is great. But this is not a real barbecue competition. I understand that the idea was to make the show more accommodating to the general viewership of TLC. So what happens when this viewer decides to hit up a local event in their area and find that there aren't just 4 teams competing in a barbecue competition, that there's no elimination taking place over the 2-day cook, that rattlesnake or catfish doesn't qualify you or, more importantly, disqualify you as a good barbecue cook, and there isn't 3 persons sitting on a judging panel talking openly about the barbecue that they just ate. None of that happens at a real barbecue competition. So saying you want to get it out there to the masses, this isn't the representation or a proper representation of what it is. And I've heard through other sources that a version of season 1 of Barbecue Pitmasters might be being pitched around at other networks by folks not named John Marcus. And who knows if that will happen or not. Who knows what the ratings are for this season right now in season 2, if it's increased the viewership, if it hasn't. My fear, of course, is that it rates better than last season. Then people will be under the impression that what they see on season 2 is representative of what the cast does weekend in and weekend out. They are all in for a rude awakening, trust me. The next time you see a crown roast of pork at a barbecue event, where it will be counted towards an overall grand championship, will be right around never, folks, okay? Let's clue ourselves in here. Let's clue everybody else in here. It's never going to happen. Let me finish by saying this, which has nothing to do with any of the teams at all that are on the show. These teams probably, I'm guessing, didn't know that there was going to be such a major format change until way later in the process. And why would you go back after all the work that you had done initially to get in that show, right? I mean, would you decide that you wouldn't go in and do that? Probably not. And as I said before, some folks are just dying to get on the television come hell or high water. But here's my point. I'm making a firm call that people stop using the term sear from here on out. If you can't tell the difference between what searing is and what bark is on barbecue, then you're not allowed to use the words. And I want you to stop it. You sound like an idiot. Look at this sear on the pork shoulder, cooked at 225 degrees. The sear? What? A sear? I was just waiting for one of those dolts, not Myron, by the way, to say that it helped seal in the juices of that pork, that money muss. Just might have been out a flat screen television had those words dropped out of somebody's mouth. And in summation, by the way, while I'm very happy for all the teams that actually got on the show, and I support them fully unconditionally, regardless of my thought that the show should have cast perhaps bigger and more successful teams in the circuit right now to help get a bigger buzz about the show. Secondly, this show is not representative of what happens on the barbecue circuit at all. Thirdly, will I watch the remaining shows and hold interviews with participants? And will I do so happily? I can't imagine that this show will be in for a third season, unfortunately, regardless of the format. Oh, and a quick memo. I'll take your reaction as well during the course of the show if you're so inclined to call in. So that's where I weigh out on Season 2 and probably for the rest of the seasons of Barbecue Pitmasters. 877-448-0433. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Quick reminder about my good friends over there in Warminster, Pennsylvania. The good folks at the Barbecue Guru, the creators of automatic pit temperature control devices. Why would you go anywhere else? These people invented automatic pit temperature control devices. They have 4 to choose from. They fit any budget, fit any level of geekdom. They also have a full host of other barbecue and grilling items that'll make your life easier when you're out there cooking outside. 2 ways to find them. TheBBQGuru.com is their website. You can call them toll-free on the phone, 800-288-GURU. We're going to come back with Mike Wozniak of Quau right after this. It's Rampy and you right here on the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Barbecue Central Radio Networks.
Barbecue fans travel from all over the country and the world to learn the secrets of real pit barbecue from Grand Champion Pitmaster Conrad Haskins. Now take your skills to the next level with a Barbecue Institute Pitmaster class. You'll learn how to make sauces, rubs, and smoke mouth-watering barbecue every time you cook. Your new skills will impress friends and family. Internet forums, blogs, and Facebook are full of success stories from our graduates. Upcoming classes locations include Rock City Rib Fest, Rochester, New York, Lexington, Massachusetts, Lang Factory Test Kitchen in Georgia, Fort Worth, Texas, Fredericksburg, Texas, Houston, Texas, Monroe, Washington, and Kennewick, Washington. For more information, class days, and contests we'll be competing in, visit www.bbqclass.com. That's bbqclass.com.
Hey gang, right here to talk about bbqteamsonline.com. Do you have a website? Get your barbecue team online. Visit bbqteamsonline.com for a high-quality, professionally made, fully customizable website. Easily display your team's upcoming events, start your very own online store, post event results, and show off those award-winning ribs in your photo gallery. Get your team online today by going to bbqteamsonline.com. Visit today. Centralites, you having marriage troubles? Your kid's unruly and don't listen? Then you need the Ribolator, because great barbecue will always bring the family together, and the Ribolator always cooks great award-winning barbecue. You can try it free for 30 days, and if your family life doesn't improve, just send it back. Ribolator even pays return shipping. But you need to take that first step. Visit Ribolator.com to get started or call 206-999-0962. Don't you deserve a happy barbecue family?
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rampy.
Welcome back. This is the Barbecue Central Show, presented by the 5th Annual Taste of the Deerfield Valley. Myron Mixon headlining this event September 10th through the 12th in Vermont. CelebrateTheValley.com for more information on that coming up very soon. Also, D-Dog's Barbecue Rub, now offering free shipping on all orders. Head over to DDOGSBBQ.com. They also have 2 new products to choose from, a Texas-style barbecue sauce and a jalapeno rib glaze. Sounds fantastic. Oh, did I mention the free shipping? That's right. You buy it now, you get it shipped for free. Get yours today. You won't be sorry you did. DDogsBBQ.com, and as we all know, D-Dog's barbecue is better than ketchup, baby. All right, as promised, joining me now is the pitmaster of a team that has been near the top of every Team of the Year race in the past 5 years. In 2006, they won Team of the Year honors, and KCBS currently ranked number 1 overall in 2010, and in the top 10 for all meat categories. We'll race over to the hotline. Welcome in Pitmaster of Quau, Mike Wozniak, joining us here on the show. Mike, how are you, buddy?
Pretty good.
Mike, I certainly appreciate you taking time out to join me. You were out there in Wyoming State Barbecue Championship and Bluegrass Festival in Warren, Wyoming this past weekend. You end up winning it all out there against 30 other very good teams. So how did the cook go for you, and was there anything out of the ordinary that you had to contend with during the cook?
No, everything went real well. The only thing we had to contend with was a very long drive and driving over the Bighorn Mountains. We're from Illinois, and we drive hundreds of miles through flat lands and cornfields, so getting into the mountains is a little bit different for us.
Is venturing out to Wyoming something that you would do on a regular basis, or was this the first time out there? What was the impetus to get out there?
It was a Kingsford contest, and we're vying for the Kingsford, the $25,000 at the end of the year. But we've done other contests out. We've done 2 or 3 out in Colorado, and we went over the Smoky Mountains several times.
Mike Wozniak of Quau joining us. So, Mike, you win chicken, took second in ribs and brisket, had a very respectable sixth place in pork. Did your turn-ins feel and taste that good to you as you submitted them into the tent?
Actually, I thought my pork was the best entry we did all day. I'm always a little skeptical of ribs. Ribs is one of those categories. Just about everybody cooks good ribs. Brisket, if you have good brisket, you can almost be assured you're going to be near the top because that's the hardest category. Chicken, it's kind of a toss-up sometimes because everybody cooks a little differently. It's mainly grilled, or you got a lot of people cooking it upside down in a pan anymore. But I'd say ribs is probably the most difficult category. Everybody cooks ribs fairly well.
Is chicken like one of those most inconsistent meat categories week after week that people are kind of always messing around with it? I mean, it seems to be like the cheapest cut of meat that you could be practicing on all the time. And when I've talked to a number of teams here over the last couple of years doing the show, that seems to be the Achilles heel of most teams. Is there some type of truth to that?
I'll tell you what, if we don't get a call in chicken, you can pretty well write the contest off. At least that's the way we feel. We have won a few contests where we didn't get a call in chicken, but we were pretty close. We would have been like 11th or 12th in chicken. But like you said, a chicken, we cook it consistently. I mean, our chicken comes out just about the same every week. The judges just judge differently for some reason, and from different parts of the country. I mean, chicken in one part of the country, they may like what we do. They may not like it in other parts of the country. We do make it sweet.
Now, Mike, you've experienced quite a bit of success here over the years. Obviously, you've established yourself as a team to beat when you show up at a competition that you're entering. Are you at a point now where you're expecting to win or do very well at each and every competition that you show up, or do you just show up, work the plan, and let the cards fall where they may?
We cook the same every week. We're very consistent. That's really one of the most important things you can do is be consistent in all four categories from week to week. The only thing that changes from week to week are the judges, and there's nothing I can do about that. And I say different parts of the country. We were out in North Carolina here 2 weeks ago, and we finished 6 out of 53. We got a third place call in pork. That's the best we've ever done in North Carolina in pork. Pork is one of them weird things out there where they have 5 or 6 different sauces. They got the vinegar, they've got the mustard. So to get third out there, we're kind of happy with that. And, of course, it was also a Kingsford contest, and we were the top Kingsford competitor out there, too.
Mike Wozniak, Pitmaster of Quau, joining us here on the show. Mike, I'm sure a lot of teams see Quau pull up into the competition. A certain percentage of them probably get in their heads that they won't win at that point. Others probably take it as a challenge to see where their barbecue stacks up against yours. Are you pretty even-keeled at this point, but of your experience, or do you still kind of grip at certain competitions when you pull in?
Like I say, we try to do the same thing every week. We do the smaller contests. Those are the ones that give me the willies. When you get to small contests, maybe there's 20, 25 teams, those are the ones you're not real sure about because, first of all, you've got a limited number of judges. You've got a limited number of tables. It's harder for the reps to balance the tables out. You're more likely to not finish near the top. You might get, in a contest with 20 teams, you might get 5th or 6th when you thought, boy, I should have won this one easily. The bigger contests, when you get above 50 to 90, 50 to 100, those are the ones where you expect, I'm going to be near the top. Now, you may not be the winner, but they seem to be more consistent. We try to do bigger contests if we can. Lots of times that involves driving all over the country. So there's times when we do smaller contests closer to home here in Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, but we can't always do that.
Now, for the folks that don't know how you got into the whole competition scene, Mike, can you give us a quick background as to how you got into this whole game?
Well, I'll tell you what, I've always loved cooking, and it's not because my mother was a great cook or anything. In fact, she wasn't a very good cook. And I wanted to eat well, so I had to learn to cook at a young age. And I always tell everybody I didn't know that a steak could be juicy and tender until I was 19 years old, and my future father-in-law cooked it for me. So from that point on, I took it upon myself to learn how to cook. The first contest we ever entered, it was a rib burn here in Peoria, Illinois. And we actually were cooking our ribs in a pressure cooker. I made a rack that put the ribs above the boiling water, and we pressure cooked them for 40 minutes, and we put them on a grill and cooked them. And it actually turned out pretty well. We didn't do very well. But the next time we did a rib burn, Mike Lake was there, the president of KCBS. Mm-hmm. And he started telling me all about KCBS and how he had the Illinois State Championship up in Shannon, Illinois. And he said, we do chicken, we do ribs, we do pork butt, and beef brisket. And, well, I knew what chicken and ribs were. Pork butt, I wasn't quite sure what part of the pig that came from. And brisket, I said, was that like beef brisket? And anyway, I found out I had a lot to learn. So we took the KCBS judging class the following spring, and we did our first contest in June of 2001 down in, it was down the tip of Illinois. So, but I think we finished the best we did. We got 12th in ribs out of 35 teams. It was a lot. We thought, well, how hard can this be? You know, they're paid on the 10th. We should be able to get a top 10 in one of the 4 categories, and of course we didn't.
So you weren't one of those guys that got like grand champion or reserve grand right off the bat and was hooked right in?
No, we did 5 contests the first year. And, you know, back then there was no classes you could take. You just talked to people. So the first year we did 5 contests, and we did get, we won side dish or appetizer, I believe, in our second contest in Iowa. And then by the end of the year, we had gotten a few ribbons. In 2004, this is after we've been cooked. We started in 2001. We took Ray Lampy's class, and the class I took with, which is Dr. Barbecue, Rod Gray was in that one, Darren Worth was in that one. So, you know, a lot of good came out of that class, I believe, because if you look now, those people have been real successul in barbecue.
Never heard of them.
We won our first grand championship, though, our second year in 2002, and we had a couple reserves. So we were pretty successful, but it didn't come immediately.
Mike Wozniak from Quau joining us here on the show. Mike, I'm, of course, endlessly fascinated by team names and how they were derived. You were Barbecue-ow for a while, now you're just Quau. How did you come up with the name initially, and then, of course, why did you decide to change it?
Well, originally, a lot of contests used to give you awards for decorating your booth. Well, we used to do it like a tiki hut type thing. We had a bar, and we had some docks, and we had it looked like a tiki hut, a little luau theme. And so we sat down. We go, what can we do here? What kind of name? Well, barbecue, luau, barbecue-ow, okay. And then after we did that for a few years, everybody called us Quau anyway. So it was just easier to shorten it to Quau. And we've been Quau since 2007.
What kind of a pit do you cook on, and why did you choose that one?
I got 2 Peoria Custom Cooker Meat Monster pits. I have one that I pull behind my motorhome, and then we have another one mounted on the back of our cook trailer. And basically they're mirror images of each other. And they cook real consistently. They're totally insulated. I can cook in the firebox. You can grill your chicken off in the firebox. It's about 450 degrees there. I can cook at 2 different temperatures. I can cook my brisket at 325. And there's a lower level. At the lower level, I can cook my pork at 210 degrees. I am normally a hot cook, but the one meat that I find it turns out better is pork. What happens is we used to cook it hot, and it would be done in the center, but it didn't pull exactly the way I wanted, and the silver skin between the muscles, it was harder to get off. And we find that when we cook our pork at 210 for a long period of time, the meat is consistent from outside to in, and the silver skin, you can wipe it off with a paper towel. It just makes it easier to get in the box for the presentation to the judges. Is the Peoria cooker that you grew into, or is that what you started out with? Oh, no, I started out with a homemade cooker. And the next thing I had was I had an Oklahoma Joe, and then a Horizon, which basically is an Oklahoma Joe. And I was down in North Kansas City, I think in 2003, and it was cold. And everybody's standing around my firebox warming themselves. Well, we realized we were losing like 80% of our heat out the firebox. And so anyway, I sat down and I started sketching this up, and I can fabricate a little bit. I've got plasma cutter and welders and stuff, and I insulated the firebox basically. And after that, we went down to using 1/4 of the fuel that we had been using, and anyway, we started doing really well because the less fuel you use, the less soot and creosote you have going through the cooker. Your meat comes out cleaner. Everything started working a lot better. Mike Wozniak of Quau on the Barbecue Central Show. Mike, a couple questions here before I turn you loose. I want to get your take on this. It seems to be the hot topic here over the last couple weeks since it's sprouted back on television. Barbecue Pitmasters TV show airs its second episode this past Thursday. You a fan of the show? You follow it at all? I'll tell you what, yeah. I don't know if you know this, but in 2006, I was on the Barbecue Showdown, which John Marcus was the producer of, out in Reno, and the format was basically identical. we cooked 3 different items, and our scores were averaged together. Now this is a little bit different, where the second cook, you can be eliminated. Now, we didn't have that, but we would cook a long cook, like such as a brisket or a pork butt or ribs or something like that. And then the second one would be a medium cook, something that would take a couple hours. And the third cook would be like a fish. Now, the other difference was everything we cooked in our third cook was alive. So you had to dispatch it. And now none of that made it to the television program, but it was interesting to see some people dispatch frogs and some other little creatures.
Are you a fan of the new format right now?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I've heard a lot of complaints about it. It's not a KCBS contest. It's made for TV, and I think it appeals to people that are non-barbecuers. And I really think that, how much can you watch, like somebody cooking a brisket or a pork butt? I mean, it gets kind of boring after a while. So the different meats and everything, yeah, I mean, it doesn't appeal to maybe the barbecue purists, but there again, it's made for TV.
Mike, I have an email question from, looks like Big Johnson in Chicago. You want to know, is it true that your success in pork this year can be attributed to the CancerSucksChicago.com competition cooking class?
I'll tell you what. Now, Scotty and I we put a class on, and I did chicken for him. And, I picked up a couple things. Now, what he thinks I learned from there isn't what has helped us successfully, but I did pick up a couple things from him. But actually, we changed our pork last year towards the end of the year, and we were doing real well with it. And you can look back at the record, and you'll see that we did pretty well with pork by the end of the year. We never used to do money muscle. We used to cook picnics, the lower end of the pork shoulder, and there's a big muscle in there. It's called a cushion muscle, and we would cook for that and get nice big slices out of it. It took me a while to learn how to cook a money muscle right. Money muscle is a real spongy piece of meat, and if you're not careful with it, it'll absorb too much smoke and get bitter. And this is why the guys that use gear pits or use pellet cookers are real successful with the money muscle, because it doesn't absorb all that smoke and get a bitter flavor to it.
Mike, the last 3 weeks I've been trying to institute a new segment here right at the end of the interview. I call it the rapid fire segment, where I ask you 4 questions and rapid fire success, and you just kind of give me that answer right off the top of your head. You want to try that out real quick?
Yeah, sure, we'll do it.
All right, here, question number 1. Brisket, fat side up or fat side down on the cooker?
Fat side down.
Whole packers or flats?
Whole packers.
Wagyu beef or non-Wagyu beef?
I use Walmart choice grade.
Do you inject pork butts and briskets?
Yes.
All right, now you can win a prize if you answer this right, because neither of the first 3 pitmasters have been able to answer this question correctly. What is the semi-sexual sounding term that refers to taking the backbone out of poultry?
Spatchcocking.
Yeah! God damn it, you're right! Thought I'd get you there for a second. All right, so you get to win a prize, but I'll hook you up with that through email after the show.
Okay.
Mike, where will you be competing next?
We're going to go to Albert Lee, Minnesota.
Is that this coming weekend?
Yeah, this coming weekend. This is going to go down to the bitter end, this fight for the team of the year. There's 3 or 4 of us that are vying for it. We're sitting numerically in a pretty good position right now, because we've got some big wins that count. We've got some big maximum point events. But it's really going to come down to who wins the big events towards the end of the year. And, I really don't want to, in December 3rd, have them be sitting out in Scottsdale, Arizona, but it may be that we have to go out there.
You
it's
have
an 1,800-mile drive.
That's right. You have a battle-tested Rod Gray and pellet enemy that did that last year as well to run up against.
Right. Last year, I'll tell you what, we didn't have a bad year last year. We won 4 contests, and we were a reserve in 6 contests. So by anybody's measurement, that's a pretty good year, but those reserves needed to be grand championships. So we quit the second week in November, and Darren and Rod went down to the bitter end, and Rod won out. And it looks like it may do that again this year. My wife has said that we are going to go to the end no matter what. And she's the one who has to drive with me, so she has to put up with me cussing at people who pull in front of us and cut us off. So if she wants to do that, that's fine. Happy wife, happy life. This is Mike Wozniak, Pitmaster of Quau. They are currently ranked number 1 overall by KCBS Team of the Year point standings. Look for them this coming weekend. Mike, great to finally have you on the show. Been looking forward to it for a long time. Continued success, and we'll do it again soon. Okay, thank you. All right, Mike, take care. There he is. Okay, bye. Mike Wozniak from Quau.
Lots of great information there to react to. So look for him. That guy drives around a lot. Wyoming. He's going back up to, did you say Minnesota? Man, forget about it. You guys travel a lot out there on the competition trail. No bones about it. 877-448-0433. Greg at the bbqcentralshow.com is your contact information. I'm going to get out right now. We're going to hook up Robin Medlin, Grill Girl, for some tailgating tips. Bring your grill to work day. Lots of other stuff, plus your emails and phone calls. It's Rempy and you right here on the Barbecue Central radio show.
World Barbecue Champion and star of TLC's Barbecue Pitmasters, Myron Mixon headlines this September 10th through the 12th at the 5th Annual Taste of the Deerfield Valley in West Dover, Vermont. On Friday, Myron Mixon will demonstrate his world-famous barbecue at a VIP dinner and beer pairing at the gorgeous Hermitage Inn. On Saturday, Myron and former New England Culinary Institute executive chef Robert will be demonstrating their cooking skills at Mount Snow Resort. The popular Taste of the Deerfield Valley Food Festival, featuring live music, craft show, and taste from over a dozen of the best restaurants in the Mount Snow area, follows their demonstrations. Packages, including tickets and 2 nights lodging, start at just $159 per person. A portion of the proceeds will go to the Junior Iron Chef program. For more information or to purchase advance tickets, visit CelebrateTheValley.com. That's CelebrateTheValley.com. Sponsored in part by Celebrate the Valley, the town of Dover, G. Housen, 92.7 WKVT, Outside Television, Mount Snow Resort, and the Hermitage Inn. The future of barbecue is already here at thebarbecueguru.com. From the amazing guru that monitors and controls the temperatures of any charcoal, wood, or electric pit to the Caldera Tallboy knockdown smoker. Yes, it breaks down and stores flat, yet it's still a robust, sturdy, portable cooker and smokehouse. It also serves as an efficient temperature-controlled convection oven using wood or charcoal. The Tallboy is designed to fit all catering pans and can be used as a warming oven. You can cook in any style you choose, like ribs, chicken, jerky, vegetables, smoked cheese, whatever you want. Take it to KCBS competitions and unload it from the trunk of your car. TheBarbecueGuru.com is where you'll find the Caldera 3-Bay Caterer. It's stainless steel and uses charcoal or sterno for chafing purposes. And it doubles as a 3-bay sink or wash station with hot water and knocks down in seconds with no tools required for transportation and storage. The future of barbecue is here at TheBarbecueGuru.com. That's www.thebbqguru.com or call 1-800-288-GURU.
Get in the smoke. Call 877-448-0433 to get on the air. Now, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
38 past. Welcome back. This is the Barbecue Central Show, presented by the 5th Annual Taste of the Deerfield Valley. Myron Mixon headlining this event September 10th through the 12th. Hook up your tickets. CelebrateTheValley.com. Also, by the Ribolator. Folks, the Ribolator is literally flying off the shelves. If you want to get away from the restrictions of traditional rotisserie cooking and be only limited by your imagination, then you need to check out the Ribolator. You can email the owner, info@ribolator.com, or you can visit the website to see what it's all about, ribolator.com. Good folks over at the Ribolator. All right. The gear up here. Apologize for the technical difficulty. Joining me now, a very accomplished food blogger. She keeps a very fun, informative website geared to the griller in all of us. She also happens to be a monthly contributor for the show, so we race over to the hotline, bring up Robin Medlin, a.k.a. Grill Girl. Robin, how are you tonight?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you making time out for the show here, Robin. And lots of things that we can certainly discuss here. First of all, the website, of course, is Grill Girl with 3 R's there on the girl part. That sounded weird. What's new over at Grill Girl that we can kind of delve into?
Well, there's a lot going on right now as it is tailgating season. So gearing up for that. And I'm also still doing the clinics, so we can talk about that. And also I started a new series about taking your grill to work. So all very fun things that are a little bit different that we can chat about. All
right, so it's football season. The preseason is finally amongst us. The Browns are 1-1, so of course we're Super Bowl bound here in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city. But as a female, are you a sports fan? Are you one that likes to get out there and tailgate because you like the sports, or you like to tailgate because you like to cook?
I like to tailgate because I like to cook, and I think that drinking is actually pretty fun too. I'm not going to lie.
That's what I'm talking about. Bring on the drinks, people. It's tailgate time.
I'm not going to lie. I am a party girl at heart, which is probably why I have a blog about grilling. I like to spend time outside with friends. And, I used to date someone who is a Georgia Bulldog, and I have a lot of tailgating under my belt from that. And, you know, what's funny is I remember that the women would kind of try to outdo each other with the different dishes they brought. And I think that, you know, if women could learn to take over the grill, then they could really outdo each other and not just kind of have to stick with the dips and the, you know, kind of lame finger sandwiches and things like that.
All right, so when you're tailgating and you're looking to bring some tips out, what's your advice for people, whether it be male or female, when you're getting out there in the muni lots ready to work up a thirst and an appetite to go into the game fortified? What are you looking for?
Well, I think when tailgating, preparation is key. I mean, if you think about it, like when I do these demos, even on TV, it's all about the prep work you put in beforehand. You know, when you get there out in the back of your car, you don't want to be chopping up vegetables or chopping up sausage. So the idea is like the night before, you know, if you're going to a Saturday game, you want to start getting everything prepped the night before. You know, soak your skewers, you know, chop everything up, put it in the right containers so that in the morning you can throw everything into the cooler. And then when you actually get to the parking lot, you're good to go. So all you have to do is get the grill basically warmed up, and then you're ready to throw things on.
Now, are you looking to get real extravagant and crafty with the main dishes, or are you still looking to keep it simple, even in regards to preparation and being able to actually cook what you're going to be serving to your tailgating buddies and friends?
Well, I think the idea here is that you can get gourmet and still be simple. You know what I mean? Like, some of my favorite things on the grill are very easily translated to tailgating, like chicken wings. You know, chicken wings are super easy because you marinate the night before, stick it in a, you know, like a big plastic bag, a Ziploc bag, and then in the morning you're going to stick it in the cooler. And then by the time you get to the game, all you have to do is stick it on the grill. But then, you know, if you think about a lot of things that sound like they're difficult, they're really not. Like, what's a panini? A panini is basically a sandwich that's grilled. You know, what is chicken or beef satay? I don't know if I ever pronounced that correctly, but that's essentially meat on a stick with a dipping sauce.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think that if you kind of look at the basics, you can kind of take them a step further, and people will think you're a lot smarter than you actually are.
Yeah, get over the names. It's not the names. It's how you actually cook it and how you eat it. Robin Medlin, Grill Girl, joining us here. GrillGirl.com is her website, so check that out. So is there like a dessert whole thing after this too, or is it really just kind of like the apps and then whatever the main course is, pound a few Flabongo shots of liquor or beer and then head into the stadium?
Well, I think usually for most women, and you're, you know, at a tailgating crowd, if it's a good party, it's going to be equal guys and girls. Most of the girls I know have a sweet tooth. So I think to really cater to the whole crowd, it's really fun to be able to do the dessert on the grill. I've done some crazy fun stuff on the grill. Like I've done cobbler on the grill, which basically just means that you're going to take an 8x8 inch, you know, tin pan and put fruit in the bottom, and then you'll pour batter over it and essentially just bake it on the grill like you would an oven. I've done French toast on the grill, which is really easy because all you have to do is pre-slice your bread the night before and then have your egg mixture in like a Tupperware container that you'll stick in the cooler that morning. Then when you get there, you can soak the bread and then throw it on the grill. And that goes great with a Bloody Mary and some bacon, also done on the grill. So, yeah, you can totally do dessert. Like I just did a grilled pineapple upside down cake, and it was pretty easy, and it was a big hit.
Do you put horseradish in your Bloody Marys?
Of course, and very large amounts of hot sauce.
I don't get that. My dad loves to put horseradish. That's like his secret ingredient of Bloody Marys, and it's disastrous in my opinion. But whatever. I mean, everybody's palate is their own.
Or wasabi is a good one.
Wasabi sounds much better to me because I love green things and red drinks. So Robin Medlin joining us here on the show. The other thing that you've been working on, this kind of recurring series, is the Bring Your Grill to Work. And I'm fascinated by that. How did this come about, and what is the impetus behind it?
You know what's really cool, Greg, is that this came about by someone, I believe they heard about my blog through your show. So thank you for that. And on a side note, I have to say that I'm really lucky because I think that grilling is like the universal thing that just brings people together. I mean, you can really kind of form some kind of bond with just about anyone you meet about talking about grilling and eating. I mean, who doesn't love to eat? But on another note, someone I friended on Facebook, we just started talking about grilling, and he shared the idea that he had made something on a hibachi at the office. And then I said, what a cool idea. I'm going to start a Bring Your Grill to Work series. And so if you look at my blog, Jeff Diverter did a guest blog post, and he did chicken and beef satay on a hibachi. And then I've actually got a couple other recipes I'm going to post, all from people I've met who have shared with me different things they've tried at work, which I think is something that is very against the American way as far as, not taking enough time for lunch and everything. But it's a great thing to do, and it kind of I think makes work a little bit more fun.
So, I mean, like for the concept, are people supposed to go out and get a Smoky Joe if they don't have one, or if they have one, put it in their trunk and bring it to work? Or are these for people that have grills already established and ready for use at their particular venues of business?
I think it's all of the above. I took my Smoky Joe to work. I've seen some pictures of people that had like a pretty big gas grill already at the office. And, one trend I've seen is that, in other countries, like in Europe, that's actually pretty common to grill at work. And like in Australia, that's something they do on a pretty regular basis. I think it's like every Wednesday they all grill, outside. So I think it's a concept that we could bring to the U.S., at least within the greater grilling and barbecue community. And it's just a fun way to kind of put a new spin on the lunch hour. I know near my office, there's not a lot of great stuff to choose from as far as going out. And it's kind of like a work bonding thing. When I know when I lit up my grill, everybody came outside and watched, and people I hadn't spent time with in like 2 weeks, even though they're in my same office, we actually, had a conversation and hung out. So it actually, I think, is good for the company morale.
Now, is this a segment that you're going to kind of keep up and have recurring on the blog, or are you going to have a defined on and off point?
No, this is recurring. So if any readers or listeners want to contribute any recipes that they've done or send photos to me, I would love to put it on my blog. I've actually met so many cool other bloggers and just so many barbecue and grilling enthusiasts that I'm really open to posting other people's recipes and different things they try, because I think it's great to, share other people's success on the grill.
Now, the one other thing that I wanted to talk about here with you, and we touched on it there in the beginning, is these Grill Girl clinics that you have teaching women not to be afraid of grilling, and why it's perfect for getting quick, easy, and flavorful meals on the table without a lot of fuss and dish to clean up there in the kitchen. Tell me about the class and what one might expect if they're in the clinic themselves.
Well, what's funny is the first Grill Girl clinic I ever did was kind of like a test run on all my girlfriends, and it was just kind of to see what the response would be like. And then I did another one, and it was really successful, and it was really it was just so cool to see so many women that were into grilling. And I met a lot in all different age groups. I met women up into their 70s that they were the main grillers in their relationship, not their husband. So it really kind of gave me a new perspective. And one thing I really learned too was that a lot of women who have started grilling do it because it's actually easier than cooking in the kitchen. It creates a lot less dishes, and it's very kid friendly. So that's something to consider too. Kids really love things like sliders and burgers, and it's quick and easy. For my next grilling clinic, I'm actually dividing people into groups, and I'm going to have 3 different grills out depending on what people want to learn on. And I'm going to have gas, charcoal, and an electric grill. It's actually Charbroil's Patio Bistro. And I'm putting that out there because, there are plenty of people that live in condos and apartments and can't have, like your charcoal or your gas grill. And the Patio Bistro is a good one to learn on. So we're going to be doing that. We're going to be doing maybe pizza on the grill, maybe some jerked Cornish game hens. I just did a recipe for McCormick's involving, it was actually a Cuban-inspired dish because I live down here in South Florida, so go figure, using some McCormick's rub that I developed for their Facebook campaign. So we're going to have a lot of fun, female bonding, wine drinking, getting over the grill intimidation, and just I think it'll just be just a positivity and what's the word I'm looking for? Just a morale booster for everyone, and it'll help people get over that fear of the flame and the fire.
So you're doing that in Florida now. If for whatever reason somebody's either listening tonight on the live show or in podcast fashion days or weeks from now, and they decide, you know what, we're listening to this, we're motivated. I have 8 of my my besties. Is that what you girls call each other, besties? And
BFFs. Maybe we call them our BFFs.
BFFs, right? I like besties better. And I live in Wyoming. Can they get in contact with you and fly you out, and will you do traveling grill girl classes?
Absolutely. And I do have in the works, it's not solidified yet, but I do want to take the Grill Girl Clinics national. I think if I could get some sponsorships lined up and really kind of get a plan together, I think this is a really cool concept. I think, women have a lot of buying power. I think this is going to be a trend that's not going away, especially as people realize that it's such a quick and easy way to get dinner on the table very easily without creating a lot of dishes in the kitchen. I like to think of my meal on the grill concept as a great way to do start and finish on the grill and be done and not make a big fiasco of making dinner. So I think it's a good concept that I'm going to run with.
Could be national, and it's Robin Medlin, Grill Girl. That's GRRRL.com is the website, so keep up with that. Robin, always appreciate you coming on every month, and we will look for you, believe it or not, in September. So thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, take care. Thanks, Robin. There she is, Robin Medlin joining us. Lots of great stuff there, of course, to react to. Love Take Your Grill to Work Day. If I had a job. Loser. All my grills are right here at home where I stay. All right. Anyway, grillgirl.com is her website. It's your chance to win Central Lights, 877-448-0433. We're over on all interview segments, so it'll be a very quick 4-segment free-for-all for fun and succulent prizes, and then Rod Gray kicking off the second hour. It's Rempe and you right here on the Barbecue Central Show. Hey, gang. Want to talk to you real quick about something that's very important when you're buying stuff online. You need to deal with a company that is reputable and knows what they're doing, and that's why I always recommend Fred Bernardo of Fred's Music and BBQ.com. We all know that Fred's Music is the barbecue and grilling superstore, from any kind of cooker you want to gas and charcoal grills and all the accoutrements in between to make your barbecue and grilling experience a success. But more important than all of that, Fred has been there and Fred will be there in the future. How many times have you heard the story about the guy that found that great cooker for a ridiculously low price, except it was back ordered for 10 months, or worse yet, he paid up front and never got the product? That's because some of these online retailers are here one day and gone the next. Fred has the inventory to meet your needs. It's competitively priced and shipped promptly. Shop where I shop. Fred's Music and BBQ.com. Headache-free guaranteed. Fred's Music and BBQ.com. Or, if you're in Shillington, Pennsylvania, stop by and see the smoking guitar player himself.
Introducing Cosmos Q. Cosmos Q injections and marinades use only the finest ingredients, and they mix easily, never clotting or caking. From our beef injection to our pork injection, you're guaranteed to wow your friends, family, and judges. And don't forget to check out our Cosmos Chicken Soak for that moist and tender chicken you're gonna love.
And don't forget about Cosmo's new pork soak and rubs.
You can find us at cosmosq.com and select retailers across the nation. For quality injections, marinades, and rubs, it's Cosmos Q.
Big name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the Barbecue Central Show.
3 minutes till the top of the hour. It's the Barbecue Central Show, presented by the 5th Annual Taste of the Deerfield Valley. Meyer Mixon headlining this event September 10th through the 12th in Vermont. CelebrateTheValley.com to get your tickets. I suggest doing so very quickly. This is coming off very, very soon. Also by Yoder Smoky Mountain Barbecue, the leading online retailer of Meadow Creek barbecue equipment. Their barbecue smokers and grills are all handcrafted in the Amish country of Lancaster, Pennsylvania, helping you enjoy easy and profitable barbecues for years to come. Also carrying a complete line of wonderful rubs and sauces. Serious BBQs, it's plural, SeriousBBQs.com is their website. Good folks at Yoder's Smoky Mountain Barbecue. All right, let's do it. Let's play the 4th segment free-for-all. Hi, everybody. Harry Carey here. Oh, my. I'm jumping right onto that. I'm very pressed for time, so I apologize up front. We have a lot of prizes to choose from tonight, and here's how we play the game. I'm going to race to the hotline. I'm going to pick you up. I'm going to ask you if you want to play the game. You're going to say yes. And I'm going to say barbecue questions or not barbecue questions. You'll give me an answer. I hope. If not, we're going to be in a pickle. We'll be in a jam. A pickle. Much like Ron Say was in the play. Never mind. And then you have 5 seconds to answer each question, culminating in your chance to win a prize with the 3rd question answered correctly. Have I made myself clear? Have I? All right. Let's go ahead and jump to the phone line. Area code 516. This is Harry Carey. Who's this?
Hey, Harry, this is Don.
Hey, Don, how are you?
Very good.
Don, would you like to play the game?
Cubs won tonight.
What?
The Cubs won tonight.
Cubs win. Cubs win. I'm sorry I didn't see it, Don. I was busy prepping for this show. You know, this is my life now. It's barbecue. It's all barbecue all the time. I'm sure you would know that, Don.
Yes, sir.
All right, Don, would you like to play the game?
Yes, I would. I'd love to.
Would you like barbecue questions or not barbecue questions?
Definitely barbecue questions.
All right, Don, first question. Can you name the team name of my first guest tonight, Mike Wozniak?
That would be Quau, as in luau, Q-luau. Quau.
Okay, I'm feeling very forgiving tonight, Don. It's Quau, so I'll give it to you. I mean, you got it all together. You just didn't say it right, but that's okay. It's my show. I can do whatever the hell I want to, Don, right?
Yep.
That's right. Okay, second question, Don. Robin Medlin was on the third segment talking about her newest creation on her blog. Bring your blank to what day?
Bring your grill to work, and I'm very interested in this.
That's right. Okay, Don, you can take part in that blog, too, if you have a grill and a work. I have neither. Okay, third question. If you answer it right, you win a prize, Don. Are you excited?
Oh, definitely jazz.
I know I am. Okay, Don, here's the third question. Can you name my upcoming After Dark guest tonight?
That would be Ron Gray of Pellet Envy.
That's right. Ron Gray of Pellet Envy. You're a winner, Don. Okay, so you get to choose from a bunch of different prizes. El Capitan's succulent Santa Maria-style barbecue seasoning. We also have some frog mats. We also have some wild game rub from BBQ Hooks. Also cedar planks from them as well. So what would you like?
I'd like to know Cosmos rubs tonight.
I'm sorry, Cosmos Q as well. You get to choose between either the beef or the pork injection or the chicken soak or the brand new pork soak.
I'd love the beef injection from Cosmos.
Beef injection from Cosmos it is. Homoeroticism aside, Don, I thank you for calling in tonight. Send me your shipping info. Winner at the BBQCentralShow.com.
Thank you, Harry.
All
Have
right.
a good night.
Take care, Don. Don's a winner, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for Cosmos. Very popular these days, the Cosmos Q. All right, that's going to do it tonight. I'm late. I got to go. All right, that's going to put a wrap. Continually late tonight. Apologize. We're going to step away for some news real quick, and then we're going to fire up Rod Gray from Pellet Envy, baby. We'll be talking about the state of competition barbecue, his recent competitions, where he's standing, probably some barbecue Pitmaster Season 2 talk, blah, blah, blah. Lots of great stuff set up for the second hour. 877-448-0433 if you want to call in. Greg at the BBQCentralShow.com is the email. Thanks to Mike Wozniak, second segment guest from Quau. Also, Robin Medlin from Grill Girl, her website, grillgrrrl.com. Check it out. You won't be sorry that you did. Stand by for news. We'll be back with Rod Gray right after this. This is Greg Rempe. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show right here on the Barbecue Central Radio Networks.